All right, so let's talk about leveling up our follow-up game. In the insurance industry, sometimes you're not going to close the sale right away. That first phone call might just be that the customer client policyholder is looking for information. They're wanting an agent that they can build rapport with, that they can grow with as the things that they've acquired in life have grown, right? Maybe they've gone from a renter to a homeowner. Maybe they only owned one car, but now they're married and there are multiple vehicles. Children are coming, and eventually they grow up and they start driving, right? So follow up does start at the beginning, but we don't always close the sale right away. So let's say we've gone through a quote with a policyholder. They want to think about it. We've already done the whole wheel of overcoming objections, and sometimes people just need an opportunity to think about it. Insurance is not a hard sell. It's not designed to be a hard sell. It's not the last car on the lot, the last house on the street. So if we need to come back to that customer, give them a moment to think about this product or service purchase, that's okay. Don't blow your customer out of the water by being the hard sell. On the other hand, if they are not currently insured, communicate that, let them know. My concern here is that you are walking around without insurance, right? We want to make sure that you are adequately and properly covered. But let's say it does go to, I would like to think about it. I need a couple of days. How do we follow up with our policyholders? So one, I would say follow up again starts at the beginning. After you've quoted out your policyholder, you are going to type up a quick email. You're going to recap what it was. Here's what we quoted. Here's the company that I quoted you with. I always put in our PDFs, our full quote breakdown. I'm a big fan of gold stars and screenshots. I'm going to gold star the subject line. It's going to say quote ready, or maybe I'm going to use their home address, but something simple so they know what it is that I'm sending over to them. I'm then going to screenshot the quote, high level. That way they can see what the breakdown is. What are my coverages? How much is my premium? What is it on the monthly? What if I pay in full annually? I want to be able to make it easy for them to be able to see what it is that we have to offer. It also makes it easier for me. That way, if I come back tomorrow or the next day, or let's say it's a week out and I need to go back to that original, what were we offering them? Let's say they decided they wanted to change a deductible. Okay, where did we start? Where are we headed? I want to know, what's my timeline on this? Emails are time stamped, so it really helps me be able to recall the information. We cannot remember everything, especially when we're dealing with thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. So we want to make sure we can remember what was discussed. These initial emails that go out are so that your follow-up is easier and you can remember what it was that we did. Now, follow-up's also important when you are writing notes inside of the CRM systems, their account portal. You want to make sure that you're thorough. If you can save that email, if there's a way to link that, some systems do offer that. Okay, so make sure you're taking super good notes. If someone's birthday is coming up, you're going to want to record that. And if you do write the policy, make sure that you are setting a little alarm so you can send that happy birthday email. So your first thing that you're going to do is you are going to record what it was that you talked about with your future policyholder, and then you're going to make sure that you leave really good notes in the system. Okay. I like to give them until the next day or so. Then I'm going to call them. Let's call him John. I'm going to say, "Hi, John, it's Mary over at ABC Insurance Company. And didn't want you to think I forgot about you. I did want to give you plenty of time to review the email I sent over, the quote that we discussed yesterday. Did you have any questions, comments, concerns? Do we have any modifications that we want to take a look at? Right? So I want to give them an opportunity to truly review it. Again, it's insurance, not the last house on the block, okay? And not only that, insurance comes up for renewal every year. And on the auto side, it can be annual, but quite often it's a six-month gig. So by not being pushy, it actually opens up the doors for them to send their family and friends, okay? So I'm going to call them the next day, see if I can have a conversation with them. Let's say I hit their voicemail. I'm just going to say, "Hi, John, it's Mary over at ABC. Didn't want you to think I forgot about you. Just wanted to make sure that we had all of your questions answered. I'm also going to send an email your way just to recap what it was we talked about." And true to my word, I'm going to go into my email. I'm going to find that initial email, hit reply all, and I'm just going to say, "Hi, John, just wanted to bring this back up to the top of your email so you had a chance to review it." Then I'm going to go over to text message and send a text. "Hi, John, left a voicemail and wanted you to know there's an email waiting for you in your inbox." So it's all three touches the very next day. I want to make sure I'm attentive, right? Because if this customer client policyholder wants to go shop around, this is the time they're going to do that. And it's okay for them to shop around, but you want to let them know you want to be their insurance agent. And not only that, you want to be attentive enough that they don't really want to shop anywhere else. Okay. So sometimes you're going to get ghosted. So the question is, where do I stop? Am I calling them every single day? You can call them every day if you would like, just to let them know. "John," let's say we're 3 days into this. "John, it's Mary over at ABC Insurance Team, and I just wanted to let you know I'm keeping everything fresh in the system for you. Wanted to make sure that we were attending all of your needs. I'm going to send a quick text message over. Let me know your thoughts." If I have gone 3 or 4 days in a row repeating this process, I don't want to be accused of harassment by any means. And especially if I have a trip coming up, or I'm going to be out of town, or I know that there's a certain block of time that I am not available. Let's say I have appointments all Thursday afternoon, right? I'm also going to let them know, "John, I have a little window of time here, maybe on Friday morning. Is that a good time for us to reconvene about these quotes? It looks like we're saving you an awful lot of money." Okay. Sometimes you will find customers, clients, future policyholders do what we call agent avoidance. If they are avoiding you, there could be a very simple reason. One, maybe they're not avoiding you at all. Maybe somebody got sick. It's possible they had a trip planned and maybe they didn't communicate about that. Or maybe they did and you didn't take good notes. This is where our listening skills come in. Okay. Maybe they're waiting on a paycheck coming in and they're just embarrassed to tell you. That happens. Absolutely. So make sure that you're kind of feeling the room, being considerate. We're all busy people, but be attentive enough that as a consumer, you would appreciate your insurance agent paying attention to these details, but not so much that it's harassing, okay? This is where you want to find your fine line. If we are 2 or 3 weeks out and you have repeated this process and it's starting to make you feel yucky, you can just say that. "John, I'm going to leave one more email for you. I just really didn't want you to think I forgot about you. Haven't heard back. Maybe you're in Hawaii." Who knows? Maybe they are. So I'm going to let them know. I'm just going to keep this warm in the system. Just let me know. And if we need to come back at renewal, please don't be shy. This is where I will take them off my call list. I'm not going to pursue somebody after, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks in and they're clearly not interested. I have other people in my pipeline I need to attend to. I'm not going to keep calling them. I'm definitely not going to pursue them after 3 weeks. That's just, especially if they just called in for a 6-month auto policy. But here's what I will do. I will set an alarm in my pipeline. I will remind myself we're coming up for renewal again. This is also where follow-up can stop and start, right? So maybe we've gone the full gamut. We've gone all the way around. The homeowners is coming up again, and I am just going to call over. Hi, John. It's Mary over at ABC Insurance Team. And as promised, I did go ahead and review the quote we offered last year. I am seeing these things in my system. Happy to make sure and stay ahead of the game before renewal to make sure you're still getting the best deal. I'll send an email your way recapping this. And then I start the process over again, but not to the point of harassment. I always recommend check your states, check your state. Every state has their own rules to these things. So we don't want to come off as the hard sell. If you are triple dialing for follow-up, I don't recommend that at all. That desperation and all kinds of things. You don't want to be desperate. You want to be authentically concerned for your policyholder. You want to make sure that your policyholder is adequately covered, but you don't want to be pushy. This is not jewelry sales. Okay, that's actually where I started in my sales career, is jewelry. And it really was the last piece in the case, right? We could always order more usually, but the last piece in the case, you might want to take this home today if you're proposing tomorrow kind of situation. It was a hard sell. Insurance is not a hard sell. It absolutely should not be a hard sell. Getting somebody on the phone the very first time, if your leads are coming in, absolutely. If you need to double dial, triple dial, so be it. Maybe they're being infiltrated with a whole bunch of phone calls because they did a little quote online, right? So make sure that you're checking with your agency, your agent's office, their process for that. But when it comes to follow-up, you really want to just navigate the scene, read the room, send the text messages, the emails, and the phone calls. And I always like to do those in a cluster, okay? If my client is responding via email, I'm probably going to skip the text. That's overkill. If my client is only communicating via text, why would I email them? Right? So find the best way that they like to communicate and communicate with them on their level. It just makes the most sense. Okay. If they are not a phone person, I've had people who are just not phone people, but I need to get them on the phone for really important stuff. Dates of birth, driver's license numbers, and then finally at the end, payment information. It is not advised to send over credit card information via email. We want to collect payment information, important information via the phone anytime that we can, for sure. That is not to say I have not received driver's license numbers via email. It happens. It absolutely happens. Sometimes they just don't think of that. Okay. When you are following up with the policyholder, let's say that you found they were out of town, or, maybe somebody was diagnosed with something and we're going through some health situations, things that they're dealing with. Make sure you're leaving notes in your CRM. Make sure that you can remind yourself of that. Maybe Beth just went through something major. Beth, how are you feeling? Are things getting better? Your genuine concern for them is that building rapport. Okay, so even if you didn't close the sale, maybe you need to come back to it in 6 months or a year, that's fine. But be human. Be human. Treat them like you would treat your friend, your neighbor, your neighbor's grandma, your family's friends. Okay. And if somebody tells you something really important, I just had my first grandbaby, make sure to record that. How's the grandbaby? Right? You want to stay human. With insurance, when I was working at the corporate call center, one call closes were totally our focus. That is absolutely what we wanted to do. And I actually have a whole course on the insurancesalesqueen.com. It is called the ABCs of Closing. It's all about the one call closes. It's all about how to communicate with your policyholders. The other thing, when you are communicating with your policyholder, you want to do it in such a way that you're building trust. Okay, so if in your voicemail, John, you communicated to me that you were not happy with your deductible and that the company that you are with is requiring a 1% deductible. I was able to find a company for you that is offering a $1,000 deductible instead of that 1%. So just remind them, why was it that they called you in the first place? What was it that got them shopping to begin with, right? Why were they even shopping to begin with? Was their premium increased? If their premium increased and you found them a better premium, hook on and hold on, right? We want to be piranhas in this case. And let's say they're too shy or they're too embarrassed. Maybe they did go shopping at the, XYZ company down the street and they found a better deal. Maybe they found somebody they get along with a little bit better. Okay, that's fine. But how I would say that is, John, I don't want to, how would I say that? I would say, John, I don't want to flood your voicemail or your inbox. If you wouldn't mind just giving me a quick call back here at the office, let me know what direction we'd like to go. Very often, that's when I get, Mary, I'm really sorry, but I'm working with another agent, or I found the policy that I was looking for. Again, that's perfectly fine because there are 1,000 people behind him, right? 1,000 people, 1,000 Johns waiting to be quoted by you. And again, be so good, they don't want to go anywhere else. And it's okay, John. I'm going to say this. It's okay, John. No worries at all. I really appreciate you thinking of us. In the future, if you would like, I'm happy to put you in. Keep an eye on your renewals and make sure you're still getting a fair premium. Please don't be shy to send your family and friends. And if you feel like I've done a good job for you, I collect Google reviews like a little kid collects stickers. When quoting isn't enough. So people aren't always looking for the best price. They want the best coverage. Okay, this is where building that rapport, asking more questions, making sure that you're paying attention to what it is that they're really looking for. Sometimes when I live in Arizona, let's say someone's moving from Tennessee to Arizona, they really just want the connection with a local broker or a local agent. I am happy to provide. So make sure that you are asking those questions. And in that particular case, I may say something like, oh my goodness, welcome to Arizona, the land of flying rocks. Here in Arizona, we offer a $0 glass deductible. Is that something you'd like me to look into? Okay, so just some little tidbits, give them a little heads up on some things that they may have questions about later. So we're going to break down one more time the kinds of follow-up, okay? A couple of different kinds of follow-up, different categories. So the first one is immediate follow-up. This is that email that is going to be sent out to your client absolutely immediately. Gold stars, screenshots, PDF, recap, everything that you talked about in the call. This is going to do two things. Number one, it's going to make it so that they can recall a lot of information is exchanged on these calls. When you send out the emails, make sure not to send out sensitive information. Be really careful. Always check your state. But the purpose behind this is to recap, not just for them, but for you. When you recall that maybe you had 100 calls in between. Okay. The second reason is to clarify all the facts. Now, if you end up speaking with them tomorrow or the next day and they say, no, I really wanted $1,000 deductibles, not $500 deductibles. By the email that you send out, you can let them know, Oh, I'm so sorry, John. We talked about $500 deductibles. Let me pop in really quick and see what 1,000 looks like. I'm sure it's just a click of a button. No worries. Okay. The other purpose is to answer any unclarified questions. So if they had I need to talk to my spouse, I need to think about it, we weren't able to overcome those objections, this is a really good time for them to reply to you. It gives that open door feeling. At the bottom of your email, make sure your phone number is always available. If you have an extension, make sure your extension's available. If you find a really good email that you can copy and paste, just take out John's name. If you are at a brokerage, just take out the carrier name. Okay. State Farms, all states, you don't have to worry about that. Keep that in. But if you have created an email that you can replicate, copy it, paste it into your OneNote, paste it into your Word document to use over and over again. It's a huge time saver. Okay. Huge time saver. The second kind of follow-up, these are your short-term follow-ups. So remember, number one is right after the call. It's the 24-hour follow-up right after the call. The very next day, you're going to, unless discussed otherwise, okay, let's say they asked you to give them 48 hours or it was quoted on a Friday and you're not coming back until Monday, okay? So little caveats there. But the second kind of follow-up is your short-term follow-up. This is designed for the 2 to 10 day mark. These are your phone calls. Touch base, don't be a pest. Phone call. John, I have an email headed your way. I just wanted to make sure that you knew I didn't forget about you. I'm keeping everything active in the system, and I am reattaching the updated documents with the new effective date, as an example. Or, John, I was just looking through some discounts, wanted to make sure I was being thorough here. Maybe you forgot to ask them if they were military. Just wanted to double check. Do we have any military service? Does John Jr. get good grades in school? Maybe there was something that you went back through, you reviewed it, and you were like, I wonder, do we have any monitored alarm systems for the home? Something like that, okay? So you've got phone calls, emails, text messages. I like to use those together unless I have not heard from them. I may just send a text message. Hey, John, not trying to be a pest. I am keeping everything active in the system for you. Would you mind giving me a quick call back or letting me know what direction we would like to go? Okay. It also opens up the opportunity, again, additional discounts, information, and it adds value. Okay. It only takes a few seconds, especially if you have your copy paste format. Make sure to read those. If you accidentally copied John in that, but later you're working with Deborah, you don't want to do that. You never want to do that. It zaps your sale. It absolutely deletes all the personalization, the rapport building. So make sure you're paying attention to those, read through them, edit them. Okay. Another thing that you can do for follow-up. So, and I did this at one of the agencies I worked for a couple of years ago. Run reports. Whose birthday is it? Whose birthday is it? This is a different kind of follow-up that will include your cross-sell. So if John's birthday is coming up, let's say next week, John's birthday is coming up, I'm going to put him on my call list. And for right now, we're going to pretend like we got the sale. They're a policyholder with us. Why would I need to follow up with John on his birthday? One, and this is in my free time, okay? This is not being slammed at work and making new policyholders wait. We don't want to do it that way, okay? But my purpose for this, maybe we only wrote John's homeowners. That's a monoline policy. We need to come back and follow up on the auto side, or maybe we need to talk about that life insurance side. Super important stuff. Birthdays are a great time to do that. Renewals are a great time to do that. And again, that's just a quick phone call. Hey, John, Mary over at ABC Insurance Company. I see your birthday's coming up and I just wanted to call over and wish you a happy birthday. While I opened your profile, however, I do see an opportunity for additional discounts. If you wouldn't mind giving me a quick call back here at the office. What could those discounts be? Well, remember, we just wrote his home. We didn't write his auto. John, you've been with us for 4 months and we still haven't taken a look at that auto. I'm just telling you, I calculated the homeowner's discount and it'll save you $136. Is it okay that I take a look for you? At this point, John knows I genuinely care. I do, or I wouldn't call him for his birthday, right? So, and I love birthdays. So make sure that you are being human. Strangers are just friends you haven't made yet. Okay. Policy invitation reviews. So if you're at a brokerage, and I am at a brokerage, I absolutely love it. If you're at a brokerage, you can go through and look at those policy reviews and see if there's opportunity there. Another great way to cross-sell. So a good way to ask, John, if you feel like we're doing a good job for you, please send your family, your friends, your family's friends, your friend's family, and don't forget to leave that 5-star review. Okay. As you are touching base with any one of these people, make sure that you leave notes in your CRM. At my brokerage, we use Easy Links. I love it, super easy to navigate. And I always use the little acronyms. If I left a message, I will say LM. Letter L, letter M, left message. If I made contact, I'm going to use MC, made contact, right? Pretty easy to follow. If I left a text, it's a short enough word, why abbreviate it? If it's an email, short enough word, why abbreviate it? But I'll use the little and symbol. I'll let myself know what it was that I did. If we made contact, I'm going to let myself know what we talked about. We cannot remember everything. Okay. Use reminders, use your calendar, and make sure that make sure it doesn't interrupt your workflow. If you're doing follow-up, but now you have a brand new inbound call, don't ignore your inbound call to finish up an email. I actually recommend pause your email for a minute, answer that phone, open a new screen. Just make sure you're looking at what you're doing when you come back to it. But open that screen, take care of that new policyholder because that might be your one call close. The last thing you want to do is ignore that new inbound call, and now you've got more follow-up to do. We're not trying to do more follow-up. We're trying to do less follow-up. But if we have to do follow-up, we want it to be efficient. Silence is not rejection. Silence is absolutely not rejection, okay? We have to remember as insurance agents not to take things personally. We want to be personal, but we don't want to take things personally. We have to remember it's not about us. If somebody doesn't buy from us, it's not about us, okay? But silence sometimes is they are busy, they are traveling, there is a health concern, new baby is born, they've got other things going on. Maybe they called in for a quote on a car they haven't purchased yet. It's not rejection. Some will, as Dexter Yeager says, some will, some won't. So what? Next. Okay. I would say encourage your policyholder to write that policy on the same call as often as you can. And the reason for that, and I let my policyholders know, you know what, John, I can certainly save this in place. However, the quote will stay there. However, rating can happen at any time if we're moving from one month to another, these kinds of things. So I definitely like to lock in the premium whenever I can. It definitely, I tell people I'm a time management girl. Okay. I want to make that sale as often as I can, and as quickly as I can. But again, if they need help, sorting some things out and they have questions, let them ask those questions. And if they say, I need to think about it, no worries, John. I totally get that. Sometimes I want to simmer on things too. Was there anything during this quote that we're not sure of? It could be something as simple as roadside. Maybe they're like, how far are you going to tow my car? What does roadside entail? So by me simply giving them permission to ask the question, quite often we'll get the question out. And if you were curious about those birthday calls, how do we do those birthday calls? I do have a YouTube video on birthday calls, how to make them, when to make them, what are those reports Mary was talking about. And if you are interested in that video, just follow the link. I also do have the essentials package for first-year insurance agents. So if you are looking at building your career as well as, building your rapport and getting more comfortable in the industry, the essentials package is all inclusive. But if you are only interested in sales and how to level up your sales game, the ABCs of closing is that signature course. And I am always here to answer questions. In the meantime, thank you for joining me for follow-up. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. More than happy to answer. I wish you all a wonderful day. Bye-bye.